Hello, folks. I'm doing this broadcast. I leave early in the morning. Sorry to folks I was going to see tonight, but took too much time for my kids and saying goodbye as I head up north to go to work for a good month. Um, Folks, this broadcast is huge. It's massive. It highlights all the things we know about the media. I made my post yesterday. And folks, for the last 8 days straight, hogging the headlines has been the federal workers' union strike right across Canada. There's not a channel you could go through every day, all day long, about the federal employees' strike. But something's changed now. The Liberals screwed up. They went too low. They lowballed the union. Those union workers go right across Canada, folks. Unlike almost all of us in the workforce, we're provincial. We're regulated provincially. You saw Doug Ford go through it. You watched lots of provinces go through it all the time. It never affects the federal government. Well, now it has. And folks, for the first time in the minority Liberal government's term, they've hit an issue that NDP will not back them on. They refuse to back them up. As I published in my video, nobody wants to share, nobody wants to spread the word. Again, I'm going to say it, for 8 days straight, there's been nothing but headline after hogging headline of the federal employees' strike, except for the media didn't take into consideration the political ramifications for the Liberal Party of Canada. Folks, come Monday, they're going back to strike. I'm sorry. Even in 6 nations, and I want to explain something to folks, and I'm sure if I was out in Western Canada with unceded First Peoples in British Columbia, we'd see the same thing, but there'll be no news stories because they're the savage peoples. Now, 6 nations published, but again, in the last 24 hours, since mainstream media's evening news last night and the subsequent cats out of the bag that in fact this is going to lead to a non-confidence vote should Pierre Poilievre vote no when Justin Trudeau tries to go with back-to-work legislation. All Pierre Poilievre has to do is say no. I support the federal employees. Folks, do you know what Trudeau's final offer? I've got it. Went on the website. And as the Canadian media puts a blackout because they don't want conservative voters to wake up. They don't want you to know. They like you, ignorant, unknowledgeable, and ignorant voter base. It's you who's got the power. All you have to do now is contact your MP and say, listen, my Conservative MP, I want you to vote no with the Bloc and the NDP, who has no choice but to vote no against Justin Trudeau. If every Conservative MP votes no to the back-to-work legislation, because I promise you folks, it was 10%. 10% wage increase. More than 3.8% lower than inflation. That's a huge loss for the federal employees. And at least out in 6 nations, the most impacted area in Canada, probably besides unceded BC, but of course, we're not going to get any news from there. They're busy, the Liberals and NDP, ramming through pipelines that they accused the rest of the country trying to force, and they did that themselves. So nothing to see here, folks, just like the media goes, uh-oh, we screwed up. We highlighted a political science truth. We've empowered conservative voters to put some logic in their head and tell their conservative MPs, vote no to back to work legislation the Liberal Party of Canada pushes forward. And they will, they have to. They said they would. NDP will not vote for back to work legislation or their party's finished. That'll be the last nail in Jagmeet Singh. He'll probably likely lose his leadership seat. That's the reality here, folks. Right now, why this video's critical, and you can all turn on the news, media blackout. You can't find anything but round-the-clock federal strike election coverage. All of a sudden, magically, it stopped last night. Why? Because the cat's out of the bag that Justin Trudeau is effed. He's effed. If conservatives reach out to their MPs, those who say they're conservative voters, if you reach out to your federal MP in all of your ridings across Canada and you say, I want you to vote no to back to work legislation, give the federal employees inflation. Give them matching inflation. And in fact, it wasn't even matching inflation. 13.5% doesn't match inflation, but that was as high as they went, which is still under, substantially and terrifically less than all politicians gave themselves every year of the pandemic and the year after. But folks, outside of all that, if you're an affiliated conservative member of CPC, reach out. If you want Pierre Poilievre to be Prime Minister in less than 6 weeks' time, you reach out to your federal MP and you tell them, I want you to vote no, which is a no confidence vote. I can guarantee you 100%. The federal employees are not going to take the 10%. That's a guaranteed. And that was Trudeau's final offer, or it's presented to back to work legislation. And I don't see those union employees going for it. Not in Ontario, not in Quebec, and certainly not Greater Vancouver. There's your lockdown vote of federal employees right across Canada. They're not going to take it. I can guarantee you that. So now Trudeau is faced with a non-confidence vote, and NDP will not destroy their number one base support, the Federal Union of Employees. That's number one on their list of their special interest groups. Number one. Jagmeet Singh was to vote with Trudeau for back to work legislation, Jagmeet Singh will lose leadership of his party. There is no doubt about that. That'll be it for Jagmeet Singh. So doesn't matter his faith, doesn't matter he's a lawyer and he likes to do TikTok. The reality is Jagmeet Singh knows where his bread is buttered. He will not, and I repeat, not vote for back-to-work legislation. Neither will the Bloc Québécois. Come on, folks, look at Quebec. If anyone doesn't know, they're entirely unionized. Largest union stronghold in Canada. Bloc wouldn't lose their votes by betraying that. They can't. Their arms are tied, as are NDP's, which leaves only one party capable of finishing Justin Trudeau in as little as 7-8 days' time, at most a week and a half. And that is Pierre Poilievre and his Conservative Party of Canada. This is the first time in all of the last 2 years, I'll say it again, that there's been any opportunity for the Conservatives to put Justin Trudeau down. It's always been, but they're backed up by the NDP and the Bloc. Well, now, folks, now the opportunity is there. It's there. Are you telling me as a conservative, a physically responsible conservative would say, no, working people shouldn't get at least matching inflationary wages against the federal government? We're not talking about private business, especially private primary business. We're talking about the government. Are you telling me that Pierre Poilievre can't cut government in other areas other than the employees? Like the massive ballooned and exponentially grown civil societies attached to government who do nothing for your bottom line services, Canadians. These are pigs at the trough. Now, Liberals, Conservatives have them, but Pierre has an opportunity to prove to everybody that he's a real physical conservative and he's going to make cuts where it really counts. He's going to trim the fat where it really counts, because we can't cut our services or we're paying more for less, right? More for less, or are we going to trim the fat out like all those who are sucking on the tit of society who have no business there? They're just friends of the wealthy elite, not generating services, generating wealth for themselves. Pierre Poilievre can show everybody he's a real conservative by voting no to the back to work legislation, making a deal as Prime Minister in as little as 6 weeks' time. All polls show that he would win Prime Minister of Canada tomorrow if there was a vote. Well, in a week and a half, it looks like that's going to be the case. If every Conservative NDP votes no to back to work legislation presented by the Liberals, it's an automatic no confidence vote. Right there. Get a hold of your Conservative MP. Start hammering them. Trudeau's caught. For those who say that they're conservative, this is your chance. Now we're going to see, is Pierre Poilievre the real deal like he tells everybody across Canada? He's been blaming everything on the Liberal NDP coalition. Well, now it's your turn, Pierre Poilievre. It's your turn to do an NDP bloc conservative coalition and take Prime Minister. That's what you were going to do, right? You're not going to tell everybody that you're going to vote with the Liberals, are you? Are you a Trudeau guy? We're going to know, folks. Now, again, the media's gone on full blackout. They don't want you to know what I've already shared hundreds of times, that the only registered party is the original 1871 Liberal Conservative Party of Canada, as is the Liberal Party of Canada. Those two parties are the only parties in all of Canadian history to hold the power reins on and off in Prime Minister and governing party. There's never been anybody else. Nobody else. Their founding memberships have been dead since 1938 and 39. Liberals' last living founding member died in 1938. Conservatives, 1939. All the party memberships you sign today in paperwork are not the government forms. Those are paid donor memberships, preferred donor. No legal say in the party. No federal registry. It's all a lie. They're very autocratic. There's only a 5-member board, a legally registered one, with 0, and I repeat, 0 founding members. So is Pierre Poilievre the real deal? Let's see. Share the video. Get it out there. The media's gone blackout because they're going, we never thought of that. Political science. Who figures that out? Well, someone who reads and can actually do real journalism, not like all of the mainstream media. Not a one is publishing anything today. The first day of complete silence. Not a word. Except for far off Six Nations, of course, because it's First Peoples, who are dealing with the children who go to federal schools because they're Indian under the Indian Act. Oof. Isn't that sad? All First Peoples are under the Indian Act, not Indigenous, not Aboriginal. And they're the ones suffering more than anybody else because they don't get provincial powers. They're not human beings, according to Canadian law. They're under the 1876 Indian Act. They get no division of powers and are subject to only the federal government. They don't even get to collect their own revenue. Yeah, I know, Canadians. You didn't know this, I know. But that's the truth. First Peoples may not know that either. That literally they're at the mercy of whomever is Prime Minister of Canada and whatever they want to do with them. This strike, none of the First Peoples get to go to school in those federal institutions. Mohawks unseated. We go through BC, we'll find the same thing. But of course, media blackout, at least the brave Six Nations, the Mohawks, and the Haudenosaunee, like I said, the Six Nations, there's also 5 more. They print it, they tell the truth, but that's the only news story you're going to hear today. The rest of the mainstream media, as of 1 a.m. last night, cut all feeds on all media accounts of the federal strike. Why is that? Oh yeah, because Trudeau screwed up. And now it's Pierre Poilievre and his Conservatives. Can conservative voters wake up in a media blackout and contact their federal MP and tell them to vote no in back-to-work legislation? It's an immediate no-confidence vote in Trudeau, which triggers an election. In as little as 6 weeks, we could have a new Prime Minister. That's if Conservatives really believe in the system and believe that Pierre Poilievre really wants to put Trudeau down, because if he doesn't and he votes with Trudeau, we have a Liberal Conservative coalition, Liberal Conservative Party of Canada, as it's always been. Because there is only really one party. They just float perverted actions, media controlled by all government, Crown, and they tell you what they want you to hear. They showcase democracy when they know they can fool you. But whenever they can't fool you or they know you're not going to go with it, media blackouts, orders in council in the other house, the upper house that sits above the House of Commons, not the Senate, the little building written in Latin called the Privy Council Chamber. Its own building. All the signs are in French, no English. It says Les Ministères. That's all the cabinet ministers who have secret meetings, order in council, with the Governor General of Canada, who's been appointed by Prime Minister, and they make laws without any democracy or any accountability or any publication to any of you. You just get it read out to you by the Governor and Council. Again, the Majesty, the Governor General of Canada. Right now, that's Mary Simon. She just had Germany's leader here telling all the Inuit up north that they're going to do tremendous amount in the Arctic for all the Inuit people. Oh yeah. Except for both USA and Russia put a veto on them. And Germany isn't allowed to do sweet diddly do in the Arctic. So what does that mean? It means it's all a lie. All a lie to the Inuit, who even through ICC Canada, Intercircumferential Polar Council, even that was only designed in Canada with the acknowledgement and overriding condition of the 1876 Indian Act. This goes for all Métis too. I'm sorry, that's Canada. Canada's a lie, and we're going to find out right away. And if more Conservatives reach out to their MP, right, Pierre Poilievre can be Prime Minister in less than 6 weeks. Literally, folks. If everyone gets on the horn Monday morning, tomorrow morning, so I'm flying up north, contact your Conservative MP or nearest one and say, vote no to back to work legislation, and no confidence Pierre Poilievre will see a writ drop, and 30 days later we'll have a federal election for Prime Minister. Wouldn't that be every Conservative's dream? Isn't that what you all want? Right? So let's put the money to where the mouth is here. Let's find out, what is the country. Is it democratic? Do these parties exist independent of each other? Or is Pierre Poilievre going to order all his federal MPs to vote with Justin Trudeau and keep him in power for the next 2.5 years? And he'll be official opposition leader. Is that what Pierre Poilievre's going to do? The only way to find out is to write your Conservative MP. Share the video. I've went through all of it tremendous amount of times. If Conservatives don't want to look at this, I'm sorry, they're back to the picket lines on Monday, folks. They're back to the picket lines Monday. And I told you that in the absence of that 3.8% inflation loss, they're not going to vote for no mandated 10%, losing 3 years of the pandemic and everything since right now and for the years to come. They're going to tell you to stuff it, and rightfully so. Vote Conservatives. Conservative voters, contact your federal MP. Get it done right now. Everybody share this video. Media blackout. You're going to watch. Media blackout. They're terrified now. Oh no, this we didn't see. Somebody made a mistake. Somebody didn't appreciate the political science. I guess I'm smarter than journalists who's supposedly doing this for a living, except for corruption of media. Eventually, if you're lying too much or you're suppressing the truth, even the most detrimental truth will pass you by. And that's what's happened here. It's not that I'm a smart guy. It's the fact that the media withholds the truth so much that when a monumental one, destructive to their existence, comes along, we screwed up. Now we got a blackout. But it's too late, folks. Enough of us know. Like Tucker Carlson says, as long as there's still people telling the truth can get out there. You want to end Trudeau? Let's test the theory. Let's end Trudeau. I can't see why Conservatives would vote for Trudeau. What are we talking about here? Negative inflation placed on the workforce. Shouldn't Pierre Poilievre get matching inflation? Shouldn't he be able to deliver? Isn't that the right thing to do? A Conservative would say, yeah, we can cut other aspects of government. Like they always brag about, it's the physically conservative thing to do, protecting the workers against the harmful effects of Trudeau's inflation, apparently, right? So it shouldn't be no problem for every Conservative to vote no to back to work legislation and see the writ drop and see Pierre Poilievre elected to office in as little as 5 weeks' time. 6 weeks tops, folks. That's what we're looking at. Share. Get it out there. Don't be a fool. Share the video. Media is on blackout. Go turn on your TVs. Nada. Nothing. It was all cut 1 a.m. last night. No more Eastern time. No more. Right across Canada. Shh. We can't have more people coming forward with videos like this one. Don't. We don't want a knowledgeable voter. We don't want that. We don't want people to know we screwed up. We don't want to see Trudeau shot down. Now Pierre Poilievre has to make a decision. Is he a liberal conservative or is he for the people? A real physical conservative? Which one are you? Because NDP and Bloc aren't going to vote that way. Now, the only one who can support Trudeau is Pierre Poilievre and his Conservatives. And if they do that, it's liberal conservative, as it's always been and has always been the definition of the party since 1871. That's my video. Share, share, share. Get on your Conservative MPs. This is going to happen. Mark my words. Bye now.